Hello, America. JOC here with your afternoon bonus edition of Ranting Politics headline updates, where we are diving into today's most explosive political stories that you need to know about. Coming up, we'll dive into the latest twist in Mayor Eric Adams' corruption saga. His lawyer is swearing up and down there's no backroom deal with Trump's DOJ, but is anyone buying it? Then, hold on to your seats as we unpack Trump's scorching takedown of Ukraine's Zelensky, calling him a dictator and shaking up the whole diplomatic chessboard. And finally, New York drivers can celebrate, or maybe not, as Trump pulls the plug on the Big Apple's controversial congestion pricing scheme. The drama, the politics, and what it means for your commute, we've got it all covered. In a dramatic courtroom scene today, Mayor Eric Adams' attorney Alex Spiro went as far as offering to raise his right hand and swear under oath that there's no secret deal with Trump's Department of Justice to kill the corruption charges against the mayor. Now that's what I call putting your money where your mouth is, folks. According to our friends at the New York Post, Judge Dale Ho isn't exactly rushing to make a decision on the Trump DOJ's request to dismiss the case. The feds are pushing for dismissal, citing rather intriguing national security reasons, including Adams' cooperation with Trump's immigration agenda. But Ho's taking the cautious route, saying he won't shoot from the hip on this one. Adams himself seemed pretty confident, flashing thumbs up to the cameras like he was at a campaign rally rather than a federal courthouse. He flat out denied any backdoor arrangements with the DOJ and claimed he's not worried about the feds potentially reviving the case later. In his words, "I have not committed a crime, and I don't see them bringing it back." Let's not forget what got us here in the first place. Adams is facing charges that he allegedly took $123,000 in travel perks from Turkish nationals in exchange for fast-tracking their consulate building in Manhattan, despite some serious safety concerns. He's pleaded not guilty, but the whole situation has got more layers than a New York pizza. The judge's hesitation to make an immediate ruling leaves us all hanging. But one thing's for sure, this story's far from over. The intersection of national security, immigration policy, and corruption allegations makes this case a perfect storm of political intrigue. Well, folks, the gloves are officially off in what's becoming an increasingly heated showdown between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Fresh off the heels of talks in Riyadh, talks that notably didn't include Ukraine at the table, Trump has unleashed a blistering critique of Zelensky, going as far as labeling him a dictator without elections. The president took to Truth Social with guns blazing, telling Zelensky to move fast or he is not going to have a country left. Trump's claiming his administration is the only one capable of negotiating an end to this war with Russia, while taking shots at Zelensky for what he calls keeping the gravy train going. Vice President J.D. Vance doubled down on this stance, making sure to amplify Trump's message across social media. In what might be the most significant policy shift yet, Vance confirmed that pushing for new elections in Ukraine is now official U.S. policy, dismissing the notion that wartime conditions prevent holding elections as preposterous. This comes right after Zelensky accused Trump of living in a Russian-made disinformation space, following Trump's controversial claim that Ukraine actually started the war. Even tech mogul Elon Musk jumped into the fray, demanding Zelensky restore press freedom and hold elections to maintain legitimacy. The situation's gotten so heated that even Boris Johnson, the former British Prime Minister, had to weigh in, suggesting Trump's statements are actually meant to shock Europeans into action, particularly regarding the $300 billion in frozen Russian assets sitting mainly in Belgium. But here's where it gets really interesting. Trump's recent shift in tone follows a failed negotiation over Ukraine's rare earth minerals. The president had been pushing for a 50% ownership deal as repayment for U.S. aid, something Zelensky wasn't too keen on signing. And just last week, Trump had that lengthy call with Putin, even floating the possibility of meeting the Russian leader in Saudi Arabia to end this war. Looks like this diplomatic chess game is getting more complicated by the minute, and something tells me we're just getting started. In a stunning development that sent shockwaves through the Big Apple, New York City's controversial congestion pricing program has been effectively killed by the Trump administration. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy dropped this bombshell today, pulling federal approval for the $9 toll that's been hitting drivers entering Manhattan below 60th Street since January. Duffy didn't mince words, calling the program backwards and unfair, and a slap in the face to working-class Americans and small business owners. He pointed out that commuters have already been financing city roadways through their taxes, and now they're being asked to pay even more without any free alternatives. President Trump, who's been a vocal opponent of the program, celebrated the decision on Truth Social, declaring congestion pricing is dead and proclaiming Manhattan saved. This move delivers a major blow to Governor Hochul's administration and the MTA's plans to fund their $15 billion capital improvement program. The Department of Transportation's reasoning is pretty straightforward. They're saying the toll was more about generating revenue for the MTA than actually reducing congestion, which goes against the whole point of the value pricing pilot program. Plus, they're arguing it violates federal highway aid rules by not providing toll-free alternatives. The MTA isn't taking this lying down, though. They've already filed a federal lawsuit to block the termination. But here's where it gets interesting. Some insiders are suggesting this might be more of a negotiating tactic from the Trump administration, possibly aimed at getting Hochul to the table for broader discussions about federal funding, particularly for Penn Station renovations. For now, New York drivers who've been feeling the pinch can breathe a sigh of relief, though the timing of when the toll collection will actually stop remains up in the air. And there you have it, folks. What a packed afternoon of headlines we've covered today. From Mayor Adams insisting there's no backroom dealing with the DOJ while his corruption case hangs in the balance, to President Trump's fiery takedown of President Zelensky, calling him a dictator without elections. And of course, the bombshell announcement that's got every New York driver celebrating: the death of congestion pricing under Trump's executive authority. These stories just keep proving that in today's political landscape, nothing stays quiet for long, and everything's connected. As we continue to track these developing situations, you'll want to stay plugged in to all our latest updates and analysis. Don't forget to follow us on X at RantingRP, catch our daily videos on YouTube, and head over to rantingpolitics.com for in-depth coverage of these stories and more. This is JOC signing off, and thank you, our loyal listeners, for choosing Ranting Politics headline updates. We'll be back soon with the updates you need to navigate these interesting times. Until then, stay tuned, stay informed, and as always, stay free.